Welcome to another weekly tarot chat. If you are not familiar with who I am, my name is Ujo Wajet, and every Friday at 7:30 p.m. Central, I will be hosting a live tarot chat during the course of this 45-day tarot challenge that I am hosting. The name of that challenge is Reconnect with Your Inner Guidance Tarot Challenge, and we are on day 10. And we're going to be talking about this week and what's been going on for the past 7 days. If you are just finding out about this challenge, you still can be a part of it. You can join at any time. Just click on the playlist that is the homepage of my YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see everything from the intro video up until today. You can start this at any time. However, I started on the 3rd of February to carry us into the spring equinox. So if you're late to the party, that's fine. You can still catch up and join in. All levels are welcome for this challenge. And let's get into what's been going on for the past 7 days of this challenge. Um, so one of the things we've been focusing on for the past 7 days has been this. It's been a weekly theme of emotional blockages. So with emotional blockages, there the reason why I wanted to have this as the first official theme is because when it comes to emotional blockages, this is one of the main things that can be a barrier to connecting to your inner guidance and strengthening your intuition. So this is why I wanted to start with this, because emotions can be one of the biggest things that prevent you from just having the confidence to like move through the fear, move through the pain or frustration. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I avoid my emotions. I avoid things. I'm like, I don't want to deal with this. and so and so it's like let's deal with it just straight up, no chaser, right at the beginning. so so let's see who was in here. Greetings. How are you? How are you? Greetings, greetings. So let me know, for those of you that have been participating in the challenge, what has your experience been so far? If you want to join me live on video, you can. Um, and I can post a link here in the comments. Wait, let me open up the YouTube channel for this. But you can also share in the comments as well what your experience has been so far. Tomorrow is the last official day for this theme. So, we're doing a theme for 7 days. So tomorrow's the last official day. Let me find this video on my channel so I can post this in the comments. It's totally optional. If you want to, if you have any questions. Let me find this video on my channel. There we go. Hold on. And let me pin this. Okay. Okay, so here you go. And let me pin that. So there's that. Perfect. So one of the things with, and there's a new moon. We're still in new moon energy. Yeah, the new moon was yesterday. So we're still in new moon energy. So just think about, when it comes to this theme we've been focusing on with emotional blockages, and then this new moon, like what is it that you are wanting to bring in for this new moon energy? And even with, isn't there like a retro? There's just a lot going on in the cosmos. So let me know. Let's see here. Man, I'm emotionally exhausted. I've been dealing with repressed emotions for the past 3 days, but I'm grateful. Yes, right? Oh my goodness. Some of these prompts let me tell y'all, the I've been doing this too. And for today's prompt, let me pull it up. Today's prompt, which is which card best describes how I currently feel about myself. I got the death card. The death card. Do you hear me? I was like, listen, ooh, shady boots. Shady boots. Let me pull this card out. I got the death card today. It's been really interesting to explore it in this way, right? Explore emotions through tarot in this way. So I got the death card today for how I currently feel about myself. And I took this as an aspect of I am going through a lot of changes, a lot of there's a lot of this is a big transition period for me when it comes to like, who I am, and like, I feel like there's a lot of shedding going on in my life, and that's showing up for me emotionally as well. So very relevant, but I was just like, well, damn. It just definitely gave me a perspective. And I'm glad that you're grateful for, emotions can be very exhausting, which is why I wanted to get it out. Let's deal with this now, because oftentimes, I mentioned this in the intro video when I was talking about why is this challenge 45 days long, right? Because most people, it's a challenge is like for 5 days or for 21 days or 30 days. But when it comes to connecting with your intuition and reconnecting your inner guidance and strengthening that, this is not something you do in like 7 days. And if you want to establish a relationship and really work through the barriers, you have to. It takes longer. But most people tend to fall off of challenges after a week or so. It happens. I don't take it personally, right? But it's like, let's get to some of the good stuff like right now. While you still got some energy. Greetings. Hello, how are you? I'm getting tired with releasing. When is enough? So one of the things with releasing, this is a great question. Thank you for posting that. One of the things with releasing is you don't want to just keep releasing, and you're not replenishing yourself with something. You're not restoring, right? It's you don't want to just stay empty. So look at what you can fill yourself with, whether it is with love, whether it is with healing, whether it is with clarity, right? So for example, for me, with this card today, I know there's a lot of things that I'm releasing, and a lot of things that I'm shifting within my perspective of myself. If things I'm in this kind of evolution of understanding who I am, and like, where the direction that I'm taking. So releasing an old aspect of myself, right? I don't want that to just be just vacant. I'm filling that with curiosity. I'm filling that with being open to just being comfortable with not knowing, and I'm filling that with trust. So that's the way that you can look at it. Also, when it comes to releasing, it's about sometimes once you release, it requires some form of action after that. So what are you being called to take action on? And are you taking that action? Because so for example, say if an aspect of releasing is, you're clearing we're focusing on emotional blockages this week. So maybe it is about whatever barrier, like what was the prompt from the other day? Let me like maybe it's releasing an aspect of fear. There was a prompt, what are you afraid to feel? What day was that? Which card best describes what I'm afraid to feel? Day 6, right? So let's say that you are releasing fear. sometimes that release requires some form of action. Is that action addressing that fear, like within in that time frame? Is it um, maybe there's a fear of taking action in something, and how can you redirect it? How can you reframe that fear and turn it into action? um, if you've been procrastinating on something, then what is it that you can do? What is the next step? What is that first step that you can take? So now you are replacing, you are balancing out what you're releasing with some form of action. Does that make sense, MC? Let me know. And for any of you, if you have any questions, you can post them on the comments. I also pinned in the comments, if you want to join me live on video, you can do that to share your experiences or ask me questions. And I have someone here that has joined in, so I'm going to add you in right now, Jennifer. All right. Greetings. Hold on, wait. Your mic is muted. Oh, you need to unmute your mic.
Hello.
There you go.
Good evening.
How are you, and how has this challenge been going for you so far?
I'm good. The challenge so far it's been good. I've kind of been fighting with things, I guess, or not trusting the cards that I pull. It's weird. It's like I'll pull the card and I'm like, nah, and I'll like shuffle again, and then I'll have to go back to it. But it does bring up things. I don't know if it was the new moon energy or what, but I mentioned on today's video, on today's prompt, that I had a bad dream. And the dream was about basically being bullied and picked on, and also feeling like neglected or feeling like abandoned. And that's why I felt, when I pulled for how I feel about myself, the star card, I wasn't feeling that way. I was like, what? But I feel like it's a good thing though, that the experience is like it's pulling up these things that I guess have been suppressing and not really dealing with, but I thought that I've already dealt with. But then to me, it's like clearly there's still blockages that I'm dealing with, because I've made progress, but there's still things that I notice that I am not where I want to be yet. So, but yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I'm pulling up this card right now just so we can view it. I'm not sure of which deck you're using, but this is the star card. And so one of the things when it comes to the star card, and kind of what you were experiencing and feeling like, and this might be happening with other people, right? That's doing this challenge. It's like, well, this is not how I'm feeling, but what happens when the card does not really match how you're feeling? You have to look at it. You have to look beyond your feelings, if that makes sense, and look at what your spirit is guiding you to see. It's kind of moving through. Sometimes we're so in the feeling that we are feeling, and we're not using our intuition and using our spirit to like push through that and interpret it in a different way. So those things that you were feeling, and this is just a perspective, is what is the opportunity for you there with those things coming up? When I think of the star card, there's a few things that come up, which is hope, is optimism, but it's also about alignment is a thing that comes up. The things that stick out to me with the stars in general, it's like, okay, well, what is aligning? What is realigning through these experiences? And how have you dealt with those experiences of being bullied and feeling this way in the past? And how do you handle them now? Because maybe that is maybe that is what's on the brighter side of this, how you are able to manage and hold those emotions. Like maybe it's not bringing you down in the same way it was, or maybe you're processing it in a way that it's not keeping you in kind of a dark place for long periods of time. There's always going to be this ebb and flow of emotions and kind of where we are at emotionally, how people make us feel, how situations make us feel. But what's more important is how you respond to it. So the star card could be a representation of that too, of how you now respond based off of your journey thus far and how far you have come. So that's just another perspective I want to give you. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. I agree with that. Because I feel like, there's moments where I don't give myself enough credit, and I think it's because I'm still carrying those things. But then I'm like, what am I tripping about? I've come a long way since I've experienced all these different things, like in the past, like, and I know that it's coming up to be released, and I think it's actually exciting now talking about it, because I mentioned today too, I have been like dealing with it and like crying today, but it was almost like a purge. It was like, I know why I'm experiencing this. It's because I have to, and it needs to just, and I'm okay with it though. Like it's like a release for me. I want to show you the deck that I have. This
Okay.
is the Light Seers. Where's the camera?
Oh, beautiful. I think someone else is using that deck as well.
And this is how the star card looks.
Oh, I love that. And let's put these cards side by side so you all can see the difference and also see the similarities. I think that deck is beautiful. I've been eyeballing that deck for a while, and I might need to just go ahead and cop that. That's a beautiful
These
interpretation of,
images are beautiful. They're
yeah.
amazing.
So for those of you that are viewing this, let me know in the comments what similarities you are seeing and then what differences you are seeing. And this is the thing behind, it doesn't matter what deck you use for the challenge, but it's always good to at least have the app of a Rider-Waite, a Rider-Waite traditional kind of Rider-Waite deck. So that way you can compare and contrast, because you're always going to pull something. There's always going to be a different perspective of, or a different interpretation of the card, and you'll get a different message depending on the deck. So, which is why I have like over 50 decks. It's ridiculous, but it's a whole problem. But yeah, that card is beautiful. Oh, I love that. Yes.
This is like a punch out thing, and you get to color your own cards.
I love that.
So
Yes.
they're the traditional ones.
That
The
is,
camera's confusing. They're the traditional ones, but you're able to color in whatever colors you want. But I've kind of tried to keep it the same as the traditional one. So I just
I
wanted to
love
share
it.
that card. Oh, look what I pulled.
Oh, beautiful. I love me a good Queen of Wands.
Yeah. And then there goes the King of Swords. But yeah, I just
Yes.
wanted to share. When I pull this one, I'm like, okay, let me see what the traditional one looks like and compare those two. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
can kind of fill out both of them.
Yes. It gives more depth to the interpretation of kind of what's coming up for you. And sometimes, and for anybody out there, if you have a deck you have a card and it's not fully resonating, or you're not sure, then sometimes pulling a card from a different deck can help you kind of balance that out. So yeah, are there any other questions or anything else you want to share with your experiences so far?
I'm gonna pick a random day and then
Okay.
just share that day with you.
Okay, great.
So let's pick. Okay, day 2. What best represents how I currently feel about my relationship with my inner self? The card I pulled was 7 of Pentacles.
Okay.
And what came to mind was ignoring my inner self, not paying attention, and feeling empty or like there's no progress. But then, and that's what I was saying just a minute ago, how I feel that way, but then when I really have to take a step back and get out of that feeling, and then there is growth, like right beneath the surface. And
Hmm.
but what stood out to me, and I went off of the Sears, the Light Sears book, and what stood out to me was reflecting on my journey, a sign of keep growing, and to pause and sit with self and to breathe. And the affirmation for the Seven of Pentacles was, as I give thanks for what I am about to harvest, I know my life is headed in the right direction.
I love that. And I'm just pulling the Seven of Pentacles so you all can see what the rider weight aspect of this is. So even some of the things that you were talking about with like, um, it's like he's like this assessment or this kind of looking and reflecting at like what exactly like what's going on here, right? So there's this the act of looking, whether it's looking, looking at a situation, looking within yourself. But I definitely feel like with the pentacles, it's more of the physical aspect of looking at like what exactly is going on. Like what am I doing or how am I responding to what's in front of me, right? Like what is that? Do I tend to do I feel like stuck or do I feel like I need to kind of pause and readjust like what it is that I'm actually doing. So I love I really like that interpretation of the pentacles as well and kind of the roots. So that's great. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I liked how on that one he's kind of looking down, but then he's got all these coins right here, and it's kind of the
Mhm.
same where it's like he's looking, he doesn't see what's about to come from those roots.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And with the roots,
I
it's
don't really
like,
have any questions. I'm just happy. Yeah, it's so
yeah.
beautiful. Like those coins are different colors, but I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
love that he's just kind of looking at it, and it's almost like how I was feeling. Like there's growth right there. You just don't see it,
Exactly.
you know?
And
So yeah, I love that. Yeah,
and that is the
it's right
essence
beneath the
of like
surface.
inner work, right? And developing yourself internally, right? um when you do the inner work, the end result is what other people or how that influences your external world, or how that shows up in the physical environment. But it's a process, right? And you have to you got to work the roots, you know and the and all of that is the emotional stuff, the non-physical stuff, um, all the things that we'll be
Mm-hmm.
going through in this challenge, because that's what allows you to realign intuitively and to start to trust the voice, or to strengthen that trust in the voice. Because I feel like a lot of times, what I have noticed a lot as a tarot reader, as a coach, and working with people in general is they don't trust themselves enough, or they're not trusting their intuition, they're not trusting that, or it's not consistent enough, right? And so the major thing is wanting to see instant gratification. They was like, okay, I want to trust this and then see something immediately. And so it doesn't work that way. It's not like, oh, I'm going to put this seed in the in the soil right now, and then all of a sudden there's going to be plant's going to pop out. No, there's all this work that needs to happen underneath the surface. Um, the surface is easy to see, right? But the work happens
Mm-hmm.
beneath that. So yeah, I love that interpretation, and I'm definitely going to get that deck because it's been on my list for like a couple of years now. So it's like, yeah, I just need to get that
You
deck.
would love this deck, Ujo. I know you would love this deck. They got so
Yeah.
many quote images on here.
Yeah.
Like you don't even know. I want to pull something. Look at this one. The Knight of Wands.
Yes. Oh, I love it. Yep. it's happening. Getting the deck. So
So I got it on Etsy, by the way.
awesome. Well, thank you, Jennifer. It has been a
So much.
pleasure. And I
I
look
really
forward
appreciate,
to.
yeah, I really appreciate everything that you're doing, and I'm happy I'm doing this challenge. It definitely is helping a lot. And hearts, happy
Yay.
Valentine's Day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All
Yes.
right.
See you
Bye.
later.
All right. So that was awesome. I do have a comment pinned if you are interested in joining me live on video to either share your experience or ask any questions. You can also post your questions in the comments. We are doing a live tarot chat talking about what your experience has been with this tarot challenge so far. We are on day 10, and the theme for this week has been emotional blockages. And let me go back to the comments here. I was crying with snot bubbles saying thank you, thank you, thank you. Listen, a lot of tears. I was talking about for the new moon yesterday, all about like clearing the sight and about this kind of flushing the system, flushing the third eye, flushing the eyes and the body in general with fluids, like whether it's drinking more water, drinking more hydrating fluids, consuming more hydrating fruits and vegetables, even releasing through tears, spiritual baths. And this is just not for the new moon yesterday, but carrying it even into this weekend. Just the energy around the new moon, and kind of just so you might be feeling, if you feel that urge to release, to cry, to be around water. For me, I was wanting to be near water. So even just looking at the water, even though it's like kind of frozen right now, can be very helpful. So good. Always honor the release, honor the tears. Sometimes crying can feel, I used to feel like crying was losing control. And it felt like, oh, well, I can't, if I'm crying, that means I've lost control and I'm weak. And it's simply not the case. Um, Really crying is about accepting. It really is about it's a process of acceptance and allowing and surrendering to yourself. Really, it's because it's not about other people, right? Greetings, Wanda. That's good. Fill the space back with love and trust. Yes, that part is really important, to fill that space, because here's the thing that happens, and this is in any area of your life where you're like, okay, I'm gonna clear everything out. I'm thinking right now, y'all know I'm a personal trainer as well, so it's like, okay, I have clients that want us like, oh, I'm a throw out all the junk food and do all this, and I'm only have healthy food, and then healthy food, whatever that means. But then all of a sudden, they fill the space right back up with all the junk food or the bad food. I really don't think there's, a good or a bad, but it's because you're trying to clear something out and fill it with something without actually you're doing this physically, but you haven't done this emotionally. You haven't done this energetically. So sometimes you can do something. It's like, okay, yep, it can be very short lived, and then you're right back to the same thing. That happens physically, that happens emotionally. So sometimes you need to work through the process of that. It doesn't always have to be one quick swap all the time. Sometimes it's just a step of this. Take one small step here of release, and one step of action. One step of release, one step of an action, and that allows you to just process it a bit more. Not it doesn't have to be. One of the things I was sharing the other day is there's a spectrum, and with this spectrum, our spectrum of emotions, and I see this energetically, mentally, emotionally, through all the different ranges of our bodies, our physical body, emotional body, spiritual body, all the different bodies we have, right? We have a spectrum. It's very easy to be on one end of the spectrum or the other. And oftentimes we are constantly bouncing back and forth like a damn tennis ball between, oh, I'm going to be just super chill, or I'm going to be just over the top, or I'm going to be, super like in control, or I'm going to be completely out of control. It takes much more work to balance yourself in the middle of those spectrums. And it's easy to justify being on one end or the other, right? Because when you are trying to find that middle ground and just trying to balance in the middle, then that can feel it. Sometimes it feels like it can feel boring. It can feel like not enough. It can sometimes sometimes being balanced feels unstable because we're so used to being unstable. And that's a whole conversation. So, but let me know if that is making sense. Let me know if y'all are picking up what I'm putting down here. Those are the repressed feelings that have been coming for me. The feelings from when I was bullied and teased as a child to teen years. And here's the thing, and this is one of the benefits of these blockages. This is why I was going, like, I'm coming in with the going right in, straight up, no chaser, right? Queen of Mankind knows how I do. These things, think about how deeply rooted. We were just talking about the roots in that Seven of Pentacles. From that Lightseers deck that I will be purchasing, how all these things are in the root. So think about the trauma, think about the emotional, the pain, think about the frustration, think about the sadness, all the emotions stored within your soil, within your energetic and spiritual body. So in the same way you saw kind of those pentacles like in the soil, you have these imprints in your energy body, in your emotional body, in your spirit body, and they show up in your physical body. And this is part of the work that I do actually as a cosmic energy healer. I help find these aspects in the physical body, help you find it in the physical body, so we can extract it and connect it and see where it's at in these other realms. Because you will have things of being bullied and being heartbroken, being experiencing trauma from different areas of your life as a child, also in past lives, and they are still stored within your unconscious, in your subconscious. They're still stored there, and they will come up in other ways. They show up in other ways, which is why in which one was it? I have it pulled up here. The first day, on day 5, the prompt was, which card best represents the unconscious emotional state of my heart? Because sometimes we don't even realize there's so much stored there, and oftentimes it doesn't start to bring itself forward until we are like ready to handle it. Sometimes it is like forced forward. Because of traumatic experiences or experiences that trigger that trauma or that pain, and we respond in such a strong way and we don't know why. And it's because it is a reminder. It's this trigger to feelings of past experiences that were either stored away in a subconscious or unconscious aspect of yourself, or even through avoidance. So that is why it's so important to just look at your emotions. And as a shadow worker, I'm all about like we got to look at it. You don't necessarily have to do anything about it yet, but just look at it. Don't be afraid of it, right? Because that's fear. Fear feeds on avoidance and ignorance, and like fear is about the not knowing. It's like, I don't know, and I'm just gonna just stay in not knowing. And when you start to look at what is there, not through the lens of judgment, but through the lens of curiosity, through the lens of just aiming to understand, or just to be aware, then it's a very different vibration. And now you can start looking at things more objectively. So I hope that's helpful. Yes, yes. Yes, you will love that deck. I'm excited. Eventually I'm going to do some walkthroughs of decks and stuff like that. So I look forward to that deck. You're enjoying the challenge. Thank you. I'm glad that you are a part of the challenge and that you are enjoying it. MC, I had the same card on days 1 and 2. Nature 9. So yeah, so some of you might be experiencing, you might get the same card for different prompts. And this is one of the interesting things with tarot. And one of the things I love, right? It's the same set of cards. You can pull the same, you can pull the same card every day, and you see something different out of the card. You can pull it, you can pull the fool every day, right? And the message that you receive from that can be different. So for you, MC, the question I have for you is, you pull the same card on days 1 and 2. What message did you receive on day 1 versus day 2? How were you able to interpret that card? What were some similarities in the interpretations? What were some differences? And that's one of the biggest things when it comes to reading tarot, and even when you use oracle cards. Base everything off of the question or the prompt. And then also, if you're using a spread, the position of the cards in the spread, which right now we're just doing 1 card pulls. Some of you might be pulling additional cards as clarifiers. But at least in relation to this challenge, right? And when it comes to understanding tarot more, especially if you're new to tarot, you want to think about what comes up for you when you view the card. And then you always want to take it back to the prompt. Like, it's like, okay, this is what's coming up. This is how I'm feeling. Like, how are you connecting intuitively? You can read the definitions in your app or in the book if you want to do that. Do that after you've done your intuitive interpretation. And then you want to round it back up to, okay, yeah, this is what I'm pulling out. Let me read the prompt again. Let me review this prompt again and just round this out and seeing, like, how does this apply to what is being asked of me in this prompt. This card is a representation. Notice how with the prompts, I am stating which card best represents this aspect of myself. Because tarot is just a representation. Tarot is a reflection of different aspects of the human experience, right? And I say human experience loosely. And depending on where you're at, just like it's a spectrum. And I talk about this in my tarot mentorship program. It's a spectrum. And it's just like, where are you at on the spectrum today in relation to this particular card? In relation to the question that's being asked, the prompt, or even when you're pulling cards outside of this challenge, right? So just something to keep in mind. I think someone from Chicago dropped their Arctic weather here in Louisiana. I'm gonna need for one of y'all to come back and get it. No, y'all need to take some more of this. Take some more of this. I need to move. That's basically what needs to happen. Like, why? I'm tired of being cold. Greetings, Rush C. How are you doing? Are you participating in the challenge? If so, what day are you on? And what question do you have, Rush C? Everything you said made sense. I think I gained 10 pounds from eating to deal with all these emotions. Listen, and that can be very much a thing. I did a podcast episode. I'm not sure if you're familiar with my podcast, Wanda. I did a podcast episode titled Hunger and Your Emotions. I think that's what it's called. Let me pull up my thing really quick. But it's a great perspective. Yeah, it's Hunger and Your Emotions, episode 9 of the podcast. And I shared some interesting thoughts, an interesting interpretation on on how hunger and your emotions show up. So that would be something I think would be an option for you. Let me see if I can just post the link here. Check out this. I'm posting the link now. Episode 9. And your emotions. Okay. So hopefully that link is clickable. But that can give you some perspective on how that shows up. And since we are talking about this theme of emotional blockages for this particular week, this particular podcast episode 9, would be relevant. And if you're not familiar, the name of my podcast is Fit Body, Fit Spirit. You can find it on all platforms, Apple, Amazon, Spotify, and you'll be able to find that. If you click on the link, it should give you the options on where you can view it, Apple and all of that stuff. So yeah, and I'm telling you, when it comes to emotions and how we deal with our emotions. So when I was sharing with MC earlier, when she was asking about, like, I'm tired of releasing. When can I stop with all this releasing, right? What is the action with the release? And sometimes how we respond to that is through food and wanting to fill that space through food. And it's a very normal response. And it's one of those things where just be aware of what's happening and why it's showing up, and definitely check out that podcast episode. I think it would be very beneficial for you. I went in today, 4 pages worth, plus I wrote a letter to my mom about how I feel and read it to her. Yes. I'm clapping for you. That is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And that is a great representation of releasing, getting clarity, and then you're taking action. And I love that. Because sometimes, and there's been things coming up that I'm realizing, even with my mother. I'm just like, man, I need to have a conversation with her. we got some things to talk about. We need to have a conversation. I need to talk to these people. So sometimes these things come up that you don't even realize. And I think that is beautiful. And I, because sometimes the things that come around emotions in relationships with your parents or with your friends or with your partners, that can be tough. It can be tough to work through. So for all of you that are part of this challenge, I just want you to know that I am here to support you. And I'm just loving the community that we're creating around this challenge. So I really appreciate those of you that are here and showing up and doing the work. And even those that are, no matter what day you're on, no matter what, when you're watching this and following along, I just appreciate you showing up and doing the work, because it's for you. This is something, this challenge is something I felt really led to create, because I haven't seen anything like this. And I wanted to do something different with tarot challenges and really take a tarot challenge into a deeper way. And I really appreciate, like, how you're showing up for yourself. So good stuff. I'm using only the major arcana. Awesome. I love it. That's great. And we even did that. I love the aspect of just using major arcana. And that's something we did in the mentorship program, was really focusing on the major arcana for a while. If y'all remember that, them days for those that were in the program. So that is something, I love that you're doing that, MC. Good stuff. I can relate to Queen of Mankind. On day 8, I went with the pages of journal and writing. Yes. And, definitely take the time to sometimes, and this is what I plan on doing. We're on day 10 right now. So once I have, at the end, like this weekend, I'm actually going to pull I'm going to look at all the cards that I pulled, lay them all out in the order in which I pulled them, just to kind of have an overview and just kind of look at like what is happening and just kind of do a reflection on that. So that's something I'll be doing and journaling on. And I'll probably share that in the Tarot Facebook group, which is only those that have gone through the mentorship program that have access to that. But whenever I open that up again, then if you're interested in joining, then you all will be able to. But that's something I plan on doing, having an overview. It's like, okay, let me just map out everything that's happening here, get a nice overview, recap, reflect again. Another powerful thing about journaling and logging this stuff, right, is you're going back. You can go back and you can just see the bigger picture. So I would encourage you to do that every once in a while, every few days, every couple of weeks. I'm even gonna do this once the challenge is over. And of course, there might be cards where you have multiple cards of the same thing, but I'm gonna look at the full overview of things and just see it all kind of mapped out. It's like a puzzle or a map, really. So it can give you an interesting perspective for sure. Yeah, I just started listening to your cast. Love them as well. Thank you. I need to go listen to that episode. Yes, check it out and let me know and how you feel about that. Let's share your thoughts. I wish there was a way on there isn't a way on podcasts to really like comment or anything, which is kind of annoying that you can't like comment. I think you can like leave reviews on Spotify or Apple, but you can't like, that's the one thing I love podcasting, but like the being able to like interact with the podcast. So one of the things I'm going to start doing is having some video aspects of the podcast coming on the YouTube channel and kind of doing a recap of podcasts that I've done and having discussions around those podcasts, because that's one of the things that the missing links there is having that interaction and having those discussions. And I've only been able to do that just through Instagram. So follow me on Instagram, Fit Body, Fit Spirit on Instagram. And that's the main way I've been able to connect. Good stuff. Greetings, Scarlett. This week was so intense. I skipped 4 days and then pulled the cards from days 6 to 9, ironically on the night of the new moon. Awesome. But it all resonated. I'm back on track, and our set's newest video was on point too. Good stuff. And this is one of the great things, right? And I mentioned this in the intro video. There might be days that you miss, and you can, you might want to just pull a few cards in one day. That's perfect. It's all about just making it work for you. And I'm glad you did that. I'm glad that you're on track and that they're all working out for you. I would love to know, was there any particular day that really stuck out for you? Any particular prompt that stuck out to you the most? I would love to know that. And how perfect that you were able to, that this ended up ironically happening and you were able to do that on the new moon, right? It's all about what are you bringing in? What are you bringing in? It's like, hey, I'm about to get this clarity today. I love it. I think that is why people video record their podcasts and upload to YouTube. I like watching podcasts. Yes. And that has been a thing. I'm actually in a course right now of learning how to, I have mentors that I am working with to kind of figure out that process to kind of make that work. See, one of the things I like about podcasts is I'm not on video. I love just the audio aspect of it, and I want to keep that, but I want to add another layer of that with video. So I think maintaining the audio only aspect and then also having a video component is what I want to do. Because I mean, I don't know if people just want to watch me actually recording a podcast. That's probably going to be boring. Even though I have done a live podcast in the Fit Body Fit Spirit Facebook group. I do bonus live podcast discussions there. But yeah, definitely something I'll be talking about. So if you're interested, in topics around personal growth and transformation, health, spirituality, mysticism, shadow work, tarot, of course. Even though I do more tarot on the channel than on the podcast, then, stay tuned. Follow the podcast, follow or subscribe. And then also, if you haven't done so already, like this video if you're liking this so far, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. That's what I watch. I love it. That is good stuff. So yeah, let me know if you have any other questions. I'm going to pull a card for y'all. I'm going to do a nice collective message. I'm going to do one with the oracle. And then I'm going to pull a tarot card as well, because why not pull a couple of cards for the collective here. And for this, oh, we got, listen, we got three that jumped out the deck. Here we go. We have the Sun, the Three of Cups, and the Queen of Wands. So let's talk about what this means, and kind of what's showing up. What is this message? What is the message that's showing up for the collective, for you all today? The Sun, and I'll kind of walk you through like what's sticking out to me and what I'm seeing here, right? I feel this is about, especially in relation to emotional blockages, the Sun, I'm seeing the child is what's sticking out to me. The inner child, or this aspect of healing, this kind of renewal of yourself, of your emotions, of healing this aspect of the inner child through accessing and acknowledging the barriers and working through those emotional blockages. And there's going to be an opportunity to allow this aspect of yourself to start to shine through. And it's definitely a time for that. So I feel like this is a reminder here with the Sun. And what will this allow you to do? I feel like this Three of Cups is coming forward, because when you are healing the aspects of the inner child and you're allowing that inner voice of the inner child to come forward, right? And I also, another thing that Spirit is telling me is to remember the past too. So child self, inner child, but also your past lives as well. Is coming up with this as well. When these things start to come forward, right, and you can access these things, now you get to bridge the gaps of relationships within yourself, which is the most important, right? But then also how any pain, any trauma, anything that you're working through healing, or releasing, what you're working through, how that affects and influences your relationships with other people. But more importantly, you get to view how you show up as through the different roles that you play in your life. You get to review, like, man, how have I been showing up as the daughter? How have I been showing up as the son, as the mother, as the aunt, as the cousin, as the coworker? How have I been showing up? And am I bringing my best self forward? Or am I showing up in the way that I really want to? Or have I been blinded by my own trauma or by my own, doubts or fears? And it's, caused me to kind of, to distance myself from connecting and bonding and being in union with others. But more so, I feel like this is more so the aspect of self. I'm thinking, for me, what I'm hearing is the triad of the mind, body, spirit triad. The physical, the spirit, the body. So how I'm seeing this is the red being the physical aspect. And it's interesting because I'm seeing even the red of the flag here is sticking out. So I feel like this transition into the physical, the red representing the physical aspect, the the yellow representing the mind, and then the white representing the spirit. And by the mind, for some reason, the white is sticking out, because it's like I'm also picking up on the solar plexus. And again, we're seeing that even in the sun. The solar plexus is about confidence. It's about, identity. And oftentimes that is also linked to the mind. I feel like the solar plexus, if you're into chakras and kind of energy centers, this representation of identity and owning who you are, right? You have to believe it in the mind, right? But it has to be justified. The mind tries to justify it, but spirit needs to override that. And before that can happen, this is where having this personal power starts to show up, right? So I feel like it's definitely about relationships, more so with this alignment within yourself of the mind, the body, and the spirit. That's how the interpretation is showing up for me with the different colors in the robes. And oops, that was not in reverse. And then with the Queen of Wands, I love me some Queen of Wands. What I see, and I pay attention to directions, right? When I'm looking at the cards, and you see how the Queen of Wands, she is looking away. I feel like she's looking to what is to come. She is like, okay, yep, this alignment is happening. And you see the robe again, how the robe is sticking out in the yellow. And I was just talking about how this yellow robe, this yellow and white is connected to, I feel like this is about the mind and the solar plexus and identity, right? The mind, body, spirit triad, and how this transfers over when you have that confidence and that identity in self, that personal power, you establish that. Now you are embodying the Queen of Wands. Now you are ready to take action. You're ready to do the damn thing. You're ready to own some shit. You are ready to do the work. You're ready to kind of hold your own. So I feel like that is what's showing up. That is how this process with this journey of this challenge, where it's going to lead you as you continue to explore your emotional blockages. Because don't just think that that these 7 days of doing emotional blockages, that's going to be over and it's not going to come up again. These things will carry with you. Because if you notice, through this challenge, you're going to become more aware. You're going to become more in tune. You're going to become more insightful. You're going to start to trust your intuition more. You're going to start to trust those nudges from spirit, right? Because this is all about recalibrating that inner guidance, that inner compass through the lens of tarot. So it's still going to show up, but you'll be able to handle it in a much stronger and confident way. That doesn't mean there won't be aspects of pain or sadness, or things like that, or anger that won't show up, but you won't be run down by them. Does that make sense? So that is what is coming up from these cards. And I want you to pay attention to how I interpret these cards, right? If you look at the book, and when it comes to interpreting cards, you all are going to have your own process. And this is what I am encouraging you to develop through this challenge. Because as you start to develop and strengthen your inner guidance with yourself, that communication with spirit, with your intuition, and being able to do that, then you'll be able to see how do I need to interpret these cards? What is the message here? Because it goes beyond just what's in the definition in the book. And so I went in detail in explaining kind of how I was seeing that, just so you can, since this is all about learning and connecting with tarot as well, right? And kind of understanding it more. So you can kind of see how I connected those things through this collective message. I did not have a prompt, right? This is just purely through how I am seeing these cards interact with each other, and how that shows up through the messages and how I interpret that. Let me know if you have any questions on those cards. And I'm going to pull an oracle card, and then we are going to wrap things up. Well, I'll check and see if there's any other questions. There goes those wands. Listen, you stay getting the wands. You stay getting the wands. Today, actually, I drew the Three of Cups because yesterday I had drawn Death, Justice, Seven of Swords, and the Tower, respectively. It really resonated with my shift in mood and mindset. Thanks for support. You are welcome. Listen, I drew the Death card today, child. I was like, really? I love it. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, inner child healing. Yes. For the past few prompts, multiple cards have been popping out. And plus, I've been being called to back and forth. You can use, you can go back and forth between the two. Make this your own, right? Go with what you feel led to use. You can use tarot with oracle. Oh, and we have yin. I'm going to read what it says in the book about this. This is a beautiful card. Before I share what's in the book, and sometimes in Kiara with the multiple cards that pop up, yeah, if multiple cards pop out, yeah, just read those multiple cards. So we have yin. So I just shared the collective message, and I'm rounding this out with an oracle card, and we got yin. So one of the things that is coming up, I'm going to share my interpretation, then I'm going to read what it says in the book, right? What I am hearing is balance, 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 balance. And it's this balance of feminine energy. And being reminded that through this aspect of emotional blockages and these things that show up, like to balance out your feminine energy. Now, this is not about gender. This is not about being male, being female, being non-binary, or being genderless, right? This is not about gender or sex. This is about energy. All of us as beings, as infinite beings, we have masculine energy, we have feminine energy. And this is about oftentimes when we are blocked, it's like, what is the energy that's blocking you? Does it feel masculine or feminine? This is a reminder to balance out the feminine energy, to balance out the allowing, which I was talking about earlier, to balance out the release, how you contain things. And even in this image, it reminds me of a chalice, right? Think of the Ace of Cups. It reminds me of the Ace of Cups. So, to remember that part. This is an ebb and flow. And when it comes to release, when it comes to emotions, you want to be able to be receptive in that healing process, which I was talking about with the three cards that we pulled. So let's see what the book says. It says essential meanings: the feminine principle of receptivity, okay, letting someone else make the first move, gathering information, taking in cues, the art of conscious allowing. The art of conscious allowing. I mean, hello. And it says, this is a time of calculated receptivity as you gracefully await what is coming to you. Ready to accept when it appears, or ready to accept it when it appears. Yin does not involve frozen dreams or even resting, but rather consciously allowing things to flow to you, poised to receive the bounty that will be made available to you. It implies sensitivity as you alertly study the actions of others and contemplate how they will affect you and yours. Remember, you must make space for miracles to appear. Be the shaped, not the shaper, and you'll see how quickly your dreams manifest. Now, I mean, if this is not spot on with what I've been talking about all night, I don't know what is. What the thing, I was talking about allowing and flowing, and in this message is saying conscious allowing, consciously allowing things to flow to you. I want you to remember that. And the other part of remember, you must make space for miracles to appear. So what do you think is happening when you are releasing, right? You're releasing these things that are creating barriers. You are filling that space with love, with trust, with taking action, with you're filling it with clarity, and you're allowing space, because now you have space to, now you're not holding that energy in a way that does not serve you. Does that make sense? So do you see why this is showing up? Do you see the connection in these messages and how they relate to each other? Let me know in the comments. Let me know if this resonated with you. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. That's it. Blinded by my own trauma has negatively affected how I show up as a daughter, aunt, friend, and as an employee. Yes, it will definitely do that. I know that has definitely been something I've experienced. Oh my gosh, I connected with my past life on day 8. It helped me to understand how I show up in relationships. Beautiful. That is awesome. Balance with self-care, loving self-care. Absolutely. Self-care is so important. I'm telling you, and people don't do it enough. Self-care is not a luxury. It's really not. Yes, I consciously allowed to flow today. Yes, I love it. Yes, resonates with me. Awesome. I'm so glad that it did. It resonated with me also. So this has been a pleasure, y'all. We are 10 days into this thing, and we have one more day of this particular theme of emotional blockages. And then Sunday, there will be a new theme. So, on the weekends, during the week, I do post the videos early in the morning, 5 a.m. On the weekends, I post a little later. So the post will be out. It'll still be out in the morning around 7 or 7:30 in the morning. Central time is when you can expect that video and email to go out. So it has been a pleasure. I really love connecting with you. I'm loving doing the live chats every Friday. So be sure to save the date, and I will see y'all here next Friday at 7:30 p.m. Central, and that is the 19th of February. And I'm telling you, listen, we are gonna just imagine, right? Eventually, I mean, we're gonna fly through this thing. We're gonna look back and be like, damn, it's about to be spring. So imagine who you get to be. Imagine all the things that you're going to be clearing out, and what you're aligning during this challenge, and what you want to bring forward into the spring. Because I mentioned one of the reasons why I want to do this is, and to make this 45 days is to carry us into the spring equinox. And I believe that spring is the true new year. It is nature's new year, and that's what aligns with me and my timeline. I'm following nature. I don't know what they're doing with this Gregorian calendar, okay, over here, and what they're doing, but I'm following nature. It don't make no sense. This Gregorian calendar don't make no sense. I'm rolling with nature on this one. So think about who you get to become, because you can manifest all that you desire, but do you trust yourself enough to hold it? Do you have the energetic capacity to maintain it? Which I talk about in the last podcast episode that is up. And there's also a video on that one too, in the here on my page. So yeah, so just think about that, and we'll be talking about that more in the next few weeks of this challenge. So I hope you all enjoy your weekend. I look forward to continuing to connect with you in the comments. And if you're just tuning in, You can join this challenge at any time. If you know someone that's into tarot and would be interested in doing this, share this video with them. Well, share the intro video with them. There's the playlist on the page of my YouTube channel, and all the details are there. And you can also grab the free tarot challenge prep guide that I created. The link is in the description of all the videos, and it's a good fit for you. So enjoy your evening, and I will see you all on the next one.